Today, we've got more questions.
More?
Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of NGL. Today we're back with more questions because you guys have flooded our DMs with many questions and we love it. So we're back. Zell and I are going to be answering your questions today.
Hello.
And in this pool, we've got questions about relationships, about contentment, about grief. So we've got a whole range of topics here. And today we hope that your question gets picked. But if not, the only way for you to find out is to keep watching. Right, so Zell, shall we jump into the very first question?
All right, first question. How can I be more contented and stop comparing my life with others? Wow, this is an age-old question.
Yeah,
it's like
it
no
is.
matter what like life station you're at, how much you've accomplished and have, it seems like people always ask, right? Like, and they always kind of like put both together, like contentment and also like this whole idea of comparing with others. Yeah. So what do you think, Nata?
I feel like this is a question that I personally relate with a lot because I think I spent a large part of my life in the past 1 to 2 years feeling that sense of discontentment at what I had in life. So actually with a question like that, right, like how I can be more contented and stop comparing, I feel like the first question to ask is really just more of like why? Like why are you not contented with your life? What is it about your life that makes you feel like it is not enough? And I think that was something I had to ask myself a lot. But eventually I realized that a large part of my discontentment came from feeling like I don't have enough for myself and also I don't have enough like compared to other people, which was what I meant. I think that whole sense of discontentment, right? Like it helps to take a step back and ask myself, like, actually, am I discontented because I sincerely feel like I do not have enough for my needs?
Yeah.
Am I discontented because when I look at what other people have, I want what they have and I want to be able to live the life they live? Or is it even just a sense of like, I just feel like I want to be better and do better in my life, which is perfectly fine, I feel.
Yeah.
So depending on where that sense of discontentment comes from, right, I think then the approach could look very different. If it is a sense of like looking at what you have and sincerely feeling like you don't have enough for your needs or you don't have enough for the kind of life that you hope to live, right, I think then it may come down to some very, very practical things, like asking yourself, okay, what exactly is the kind of life that you want to live? Is that really that important to you? And what does it take to live that life? So for example, right, really, really concrete things like even coming up with a budget spreadsheet, right, to see if I want to have this amount of disposable income per month, how much money do I need to be earning? What are some areas of my expenditure that I need to perhaps like adjust a little bit so that I can have more disposable income? And I don't think this solves the problem of discontentment, but it at least makes it more concrete. So it isn't just a very iffy like,
it's like, wow, I don't have enough. I will
which,
never have
which
enough.
Which is actually very anxiety inducing,
It's
to always
true,
feel like you don't have
and I
enough.
think that will affect like this whole idea of contentment. If you're just wrecked with this anxiety that comes from not really knowing.
Because you just go about your life feeling like, wow, I just don't have enough and like my life is not ideal. It's not what I want for myself. So I think a first step would actually possibly be to make it concrete. What exactly is it that you feel you need, that you currently lack? And are there ways to legally and realistically achieve that? And if it takes things like, adjusting your lifestyle, changing your job, or taking on side hustles and what, is that a cost that you're willing to pay in some sense? I think then the second thing, right, like if it's a sense of discontentment because you want what other people have and that's not what you currently have, right? I personally feel like that's a little bit dangerous. And that's what I was stuck in for a while. I think a large part of my discontentment came because I had this narrative in my head that I should be on a certain track.
Right.
Like I should be achieving certain milestones in my life. And a large part of that came from comparing my peers, right? And I think that comparison actually is a neutral thing. I don't think it is necessarily like absolutely good or absolutely bad because in some sense it does tell us how we are doing in life, right? And so I think when I compared a lot with my peers who were from a similar background, who were in the same age range, right, then I started to feel like, how come they can have these experiences in life that I need to think very hard before I have? How come they are able to hit certain milestones or live very freely when in some way I feel like I'm not able
need to consider
to live like them?
More.
Yeah, correct. But I think then I learned a very important lesson lah, which is that at the end of the day, I think no matter how rich you are and how much you have, right? If you continually compare yourself to people who have more than you, and that for you becomes the goal of, it becomes your next goal, right? I think it's a bit of a black hole because it will never really end. There will always be somebody who is richer than you or who has more than you. And at the same time, right, that is just a snapshot of one part of their life. You just see maybe the material things they have or certain things in their life that form their highlight reel, right? But we also don't get to see a full picture of their life. We don't know whether these things that people have come at a certain trade-off or certain cost, right? And at the same time, the things we have in our life come with certain trade-offs, but also certain benefits and gains, right? Maybe I may earn less money, but at the same time, I have more time for leisure, I have more time for family, I have more time to pursue my hobbies, or I earn a lot of money and I pour a lot of my time into work, but it comes also at certain costs and trade-offs, right? So I think everybody is navigating these trade-offs, but if we only look at their highlights and we look at the just glorious things that they have, right? We really don't see a full picture. And I think that is what feeds into that sense of discontentment because we enjoy the good things that we have in life, but then we also feel like, I want those things, but we don't realize that those things come at a price. And I think that was what I was stuck in, right? Until I realized that, oh my gosh, this is never ending. And I don't really think I want to be stuck in this cycle. So that's when I think I took a step out of it to realize that, okay, why am I in this situation? Am I actually unhappy with my job and with the things that I'm doing, right? Actually, not really. But I think there were certain things that I had to adjust so that I could come to contentment. If I'm very, very sure that, for example, the career that I have chosen, I have intentionally chosen, right? Then how I had to learn how to adjust my expectations of my lifestyle, the amount of disposable income I assume or I expect to have, right? So that I can come to be thankful for the things that I do have and I don't keep looking at what I don't have and feel sad about it.
So were you able to find contentment when you did that?
I mean, okay, I don't feel like, I want to say that it's not a fairy tale. I don't think that you will one day wake up and then suddenly feel like, oh my gosh, I have like all my dreams fulfilled just because you have this paradigm shift, you know. I think there are still days where I wake up and feel like, wow, maybe I need to think a little bit harder on certain decisions I want to make. I'm currently in the process of renovating my house, right? And I'm always quite reminded that I have to keep an eye on my costs quite carefully. I have to think of ways to save money, like, okay, buy from Taobao, buy from JB, don't buy from Singapore retailer and things like that, right? And so, okay, I think that feeling of knowing that I have a little bit less than other people will not go away. But I think how much it grips you, how much it overwhelms you, how much it causes the anxiety and that feeling of I need to get out of this situation, right? It changes with your perspective on your situation lah. Yeah. So yeah, I do think that I feel a lot more at peace with where I am now. And it's something that I intentionally choose to not dwell on because I know it's not true that I don't have anything. I do have some things and it is possible for me to be grateful and thankful for what I do have.
Yeah, that's so good. Like, I think taking a step back and really asking yourself actually what matters at the end of the day. Because everything can be a good thing. But if you try to like get every single good thing, there is a price to pay. And I was just like thinking about times where I think I don't really compare myself with others, but I do like hear a lot of people comparing me to other people. And I think that is probably what gets me as well. So actually it's everywhere. It's not even just your parents, but like what you see on like social media advertisements, like wow, like this girl's like, you know, skin so nice, so fair. All the facial ladies were like, that's what they do, right? To like make you buy package.
Oh my gosh,
that kind of thing. Yeah. Or like I don't know, like when I was in uni, I can't remember what score I had for my first test. I thought I was like, hey, not bad. Yeah. Until like all my friends started to ask me what I got. And actually like I studied for the test. Yeah, and when they heard what I got, right, they all like gave me this like this look of pity, and they were
oh
like,
"Oh,
is it you didn't study?" No, like,
so bad.
No, I studied because like they all like did much better. So you can't run away from comparison.
Yeah,
true. Like when society and just everywhere you look, people tell you like where you should be. But I think at the end of the day, it's really about like people can tell you everything is good, but you at the end of the day, you have to decide for yourself what is good for you. Yeah, and it doesn't need to be everything. And I think we
Yeah, that's
can
true.
let go, of certain things. And maybe it's like when you let go, that could feel like the scariest thing in the world, but that actually could bring you more assurance, to just focus on that few things. And to maybe that's also how we can practically like not need to feel like we need to compare ourselves with everyone for everything. And I think having a thankful heart is so good. Like sometimes so I have this like entry in my journal. It's a digital journal. So I would think like, okay, like I want to have like 1,000 reasons like to be thankful for. So like I just write down like, I mean, it's not every day, like, you can write something, but like one day I hope that, I'll be able to like find 1,000 things that I can
Actually,
be
that's
thankful
cute
for.
because it's very intentional, like Thanksgiving.
And it's personal to me also. It's not just like what
yeah.
everybody tells me. Yeah, so it could be small things like, oh, like someone gave up their seat on the MRT for me today. And it's not like, it's not like I had to have that seat. It's like, wow, so nice. And I feel like that actually makes me, helps me to focus, on the things that I could have missed out just because, I'm looking at everything else that I don't have.
Yeah. I feel one of the thoughts that I had also is that I don't think that discontentment is always bad, in the sense that if there is some form of healthy competition within yourself, right, to want to always grow and improve, I feel that is where contentment can be used positively to spur us to
comparison.
Yeah, to spur us to always like grow lah. So for me at least, like I know that maybe with my struggles and all, right, it's not healthy for me to always compare myself to other people, right? But actually, like, comparing myself within myself has been quite helpful in pushing myself to grow. So setting certain goals for myself, or telling myself that maybe in a previous milestone, these were some skills that I had learned, right? And in maybe the next few months of my life, I think this is one way that I want to grow myself. Or I feel like in the past season, actually, I've been very like self-sufficient, and not in a good way, I've been very isolated and I carry on my problems, and I feel discontented with how I am. I feel discontented with the way that I deal with my emotions, I deal with my relationships and friendships, and that's something that I want to grow in. So I think contentment actually is a double-edged sword, that if it is used positively, actually can cause a lot of growth in our life. But if not so healthily, then it can really cause us to spiral and feel like we don't ever have enough in our life.
So you got to be watchful.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for the question.
Let's go to the next one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. This one is more serious.
Wow. All right.
In dealing with grief, I could previously look at my friend's photo and videos to remember and celebrate her, but now I can't. What should I do next? Okay, so I'm assuming that in this question that was asked, it's been some time since your friend has passed away, and you, in some sense, have kind of moved into a different phase of grief, where what you could do at the start, you're having some difficulty doing now, probably because it is triggering some emotions and it's quite difficult lah. So what should you do next?
Wow. I think grief is such a complex emotion.
Yep.
And I know out there they say that there are different stages of grief. Yeah, and there's a lot of different like analogies of what grief can look like. Yeah, but I came to realize that it really looks different for everyone. Yeah, I think for me recently, like I lost a friend to a car accident, and we have common friends as well. Yeah, and I was just like once in a while we will check on each other. Yeah, and I think whatever that this person like wrote, thank you for being so vulnerable with your question. I felt that one of my friends was going through that as well. Yeah, and I think the first thing that I want to say, right, is don't feel bad, that and don't feel like you are regressing in a sense. Like grief is not linear, where you like go from stage to stage and then you like get better in a sense. Yeah, because it's always gonna hurt. It's just gonna come out in different ways. Yeah, and there will be times where you can grieve with some sort of like happiness, but there will be times where you really miss the person so terribly that you can't even look at like their photos, like, or even the mention of their name, right, will just, spark like will spark some tears as well. Yeah, and I think we feel it a lot when it comes to like birthdays or anniversaries or even
Important
like
moments.
like even physical places and all that. So what should you do next? I feel that you can just sit in that moment actually. To just feel that and be okay, to miss your friend. Yeah, because I guess that is a reflection of how much he or she meant to you, and I think it's okay to let that it's like a wave, when the wave crashes, you just let it crash. But know that you won't drown. Yeah, you will like surface up again. Yeah. And I think another, I guess, practical thing that we can do is if you do feel overwhelmed, you feel like somewhat you're drowning and you don't know what to do next. I think it's good to be able to share this like with a friend that perhaps have gone through something similar. Yeah, I think that's what very thankful for that group of friends that we all knew that this like friend that passed away, that we were able to just be very raw with what we were feeling and not have any conclusion, and that was okay. I think that brought a lot of like assurance and just comfort to all of us. And then for my friend who recently like felt that she was going through a different phase where she was crying uncontrollably, even though it has been like a few months already, she went to see a counselor to just try to have someone that can unpack like what she was going through and bring some sort of clarity. And it was quite interesting, like she shared with me how the counselor actually pointed out maybe how she sees a certain like pattern, I think based on like the consultation sessions and all, right, that the reason why she is feeling this amount of like grief is that she was very attached to this friend that passed on, and because that person has left such a big hole in her life, right, she is trying to reattach. She's trying to find things or people, right, to
fill that hole,
to reattach herself to other things. But the counselor pointed out that it may not be as literal, it may not be as straightforward, and not everything or anyone can just feel that immediately. So I think she's in a process of like, I think that she shared with me that actually brought a lot of clarity to what she to the feeling, to that emotion that she was feeling. And she's not able to kind of like know what at least why she's feeling like that, and then work with the counselor on like the things that she can do next.
Yeah, I think you really covered it quite comprehensively, and I feel it came from a place of understanding also, because you personally went through that process. If anything, I would just add that I think it always helps to process grief in community, just because sometimes when we are alone, it really can be quite overwhelming and confusing. I think this was something that I experienced or I learned recently, because I did share in a previous episode that I've lost quite a few friends, right? And I think in the first few friends that I lost, I kind of was processing that grief alone, and so it was just very much my experience. But I think in the later ones, like the two friends that I lost, one late last year and one early this year, there were other people around me who were going through the same thing, and so I was able to talk to them about my grief and hear their experience, and actually that helped to normalize my grief in some sense. It didn't make me feel so weird for like crying out of nowhere, or like I think it just showed me that grief is a real thing that affects different people differently, but at the same time, people who are grieving understand each other. And so I hope that you have people around you who are able to understand your grief, even if the form looks a little bit different. But if not, then hopefully our episode on grief will help you to also realize that you're not alone, and that other people also have weird experiences when it comes to grief, because grief is weird.
It is. We're still figuring out.
Yeah. We're very much figuring out on the go, right? And if the episode is not enough and you would like to have somebody to talk to, you are really more than welcome to drop us a DM or join in our Telegram channel as well, where we have people who are able to just talk you through your grief and understand a little bit more about what you're feeling. So I think that's what it would be.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, let's look at the next one.
All right. Okay, this one is a bit more lighthearted, I think. Says, how can I help my guy friend who is desperate to have a girlfriend? Any words of advice for them?
Why you out your bro like that?
How desperate are we talking?
Well,
it's very important.
It's true. There are different like degrees to desperation. How to help my guy friend? How, Zil? Got advice or not?
Wow. Firstly, thank you for being a good friend. Yeah, to not leave this guy alone, and maybe you also don't want him to do things that might potentially traumatize like other girls or something. Yeah, no, but it's true, like how desperate is quite important, because like if it comes from more of like a concern kind of thing, then maybe like you can sit down, have a chat with him to ask like why
he feels such a strong need to be attached.
Yeah, maybe why do you need to get attached, or what has he tried before, like maybe as a bro. Okay, I don't know whether this person that asked, right, is like a guy or girl, but maybe like it'll be nice to like ask like your guy friend, like what has he tried before, or what didn't work. Yeah, because I think like everybody has blind spots, right? Everyone has good intentions, but everyone has like blind spots. So they need friends around them that like can I guess give an objective like viewpoint. Yeah, so like if it's okay, like you can look at like certain conversations that they have with like whoever that they are seeing.
Literally their coffee meets bagel.
Yeah, no, it's true, because right, like I got like
they got no
I got see like guys, right, that just talk about themselves. So it's like one whole wall of text, right? And then like there's just no space for the girl to like answer that kind of thing. But they don't know that it's like
it's like, so they need a consultant lah.
Yeah.
To help them to chart the
because like they
forward.
might genuinely think is like is okay. Like they are trying to like make conversation, but actually they are just talking to themselves. Yeah, but I don't know, for the more serious cases, like in terms of it's really affecting them.
Like it consumes them.
Yeah, and they really feel like, it's like very I don't know. Okay, one is like they feel very like sad about themselves, and another one I'm thinking is like, what if they are like stalking girls or like just trying to get into bed with every single girl?
But yeah, it happens right? In its most extreme cases.
Yeah.
If that's the case, hold your friend back and tell him, stop it, bro.
Warn all the girls. Okay, don't sell your friend out like that. But I don't know. Like I feel that one thing is to, I think love cannot be forced. You like, it's like I think there is room for you to work on yourself, which is what like we shared earlier, like the whole idea of like kind of evaluating on the conversations or the people that you talk to with a trusted friend that can like you as a friend ask and then like help this person to see what how like his actions or words have an effect on the other person receiving them, because that's something that like he may not really know about. Yeah, but maybe for the I think like when it comes to like thinking that every single girl can be like a potential partner, or like if it comes to a point of consuming him, or it like leading to him like I don't know, like
doing foolish things
or like hurting like other girls and all that, I think as a friend you need to call it out lah.
Yep.
Yeah, for what it is.
I just think it's quite funny because when we read this question, how can I help my guy friend who is desperate to have a girlfriend, right? We automatically assume that the person wants to counsel the friend. But what if the person means he wants to help his guy friend get a girlfriend? If that's the case, you can let us know in the DM and we'll work it out with you. But I think if you want to counsel your guy friend and give them
help
some
them not
helpful
be so desperate.
Yeah, I think it's actually helpful to understand what is the need beneath that desperation. Because on the surface, it can look like desperation and it can just look a bit like that's his thing, right? His thing is that he wants to get a girl. But there's probably some deeper need there lah. Like, is your friend feeling lonely? Is your friend feeling bored? Is your friend feeling I don't know, even to some extent like small, because he doesn't seem to be able to get a girl right, or like be able to make somebody fall in love with him and things like that. And I feel that if there is a deeper need, right, then that is actually where you come in as a friend to really be able to speak to that need, and either speaking some words of truth if you feel like your friend is really a bit like too in his own head, right? Or you're able to even just give that love and that encouragement.
Yeah, actually remind him that he's so much more
than that.
Than a relationship status.
Correct.
And like the reason why you're friends with him is because you like
there's
some
so
of his
many good
character
things,
traits.
you know, about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel also like then the idea of, I would say if I have a guy friend who is like that, right, actually I would be a bit concerned as to whether he has put the idea of love on a pedestal. Like, you know, have you fallen in love with the idea of love?
Just want to
more than
feel loved.
Yeah, and I will be concerned for you as a friend because I love you and I want you to succeed, right? I want you to be able to enjoy fulfilling relationships. But I think if you go into a relationship having such a like idealized version or vision of what like a relationship would be and how it would meet your needs, I think then it places you and your partner in quite a precarious situation lah. So as a friend, I would probably want to speak to that to affirm the fact that it's not like bad, you know, that you want to have a relationship, but perhaps some of your expectations like could be a bit like hyped up, and there's room to just be yourself and see what comes out of that lah. I think the fact that you are good friends with this person and he has a close friend means he's probably not that unlikable lah. So
yeah.
I
say you chill lah. You can't force love, you cannot rush love.
But you can put yourself out there.
Yes. Like you can put yourself out there, get to know people, and it will come. Like probably when you least expect it, when you don't force it. So we've come to the end of this part of our You Ask, We Answer episode. It's so fun. We're going to do more of it. And
Definitely.
if you like this content or know a friend who would love it as well, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, as well as Apple Podcasts. So, you know, you can share it with your friends. You can also connect with us. We've got a great community on Telegram, as well as you can find us on TikTok and Instagram at ngl.people. And of course, like, share, and subscribe to this channel as well. So until next time, we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.